This is Gregory Peck speaking, and I'd like to tell you something about the Guns of Navarone.
In the annals of cinematic history, certain films stand as enduring monuments to storytelling and spectacle. Among these titans of the silver screen, the Guns of Navarone, released in 1961, continues to captivate audiences with its thrilling narrative of wartime heroism against seemingly insurmountable odds. Set against the backdrop of World War II, the film painted a vivid picture of courage, camaraderie, and sacrifice as a team of Allied saboteurs embarked on a perilous mission to disable massive German artillery threatening Allied naval forces in the Aegean Sea. The craggy cliffs of a fictional Greek island became the stage for daring feats, tense infiltrations, and explosive action, all brought to life by a stellar international cast. On screen, these actors embodied unwavering bravery, their characters facing down danger with steely resolve and inspiring audiences with their commitment to the mission. Gregory Peck's Captain Keith Mallory, Anthony Quinn's Colonel Andrea Stavros, and David Niven's Corporal John Anthony Miller led a compelling ensemble, each playing a crucial role in the nail-biting operation. Their performances etched these characters into the collective memory of cinema lovers, solidifying their places as icons of wartime adventure. However, beyond the meticulously crafted sets and the dramatic on-screen heroics, the lives of these performers were often filled with complexities, triumphs, and, as time would tell, personal battles that mirrored the intensity of the fictional war they portrayed. While their characters on Navarone faced a formidable enemy, the actors themselves navigated the turbulent waters of fame, personal relationships, health challenges, and the inevitable passage of time. The glitz and glamour of Hollywood often masked the private struggles and the eventual fading from the limelight that many of these stars would experience. Where are these actors now? What became of the men and women who so convincingly brought these wartime heroes to life? This exploration seeks to delve beyond the iconic roles and the captivating performances to uncover the journeys of some of the key actors from the Guns of Navarone. Through their stories, we aim to shed light on the multifaceted nature of their lives, acknowledging their cinematic achievements while also exploring the personal triumphs and tragedies that shaped their paths. Join us as we journey through the lives of these performers, revealing the human stories behind the heroic facades and understanding the enduring legacy they left behind, both on and off the screen. Gregory Peck, born Eldred Gregory Peck on April 5, 1916, stepped into the formidable shoes of Captain Keith Mallory in the Guns of Navarone at the age of 45. By this point in his illustrious career, Peck had already established himself as a leading man of immense talent and integrity, his tall, commanding presence and thoughtful portrayals earning him both critical acclaim and the adoration of audiences worldwide. His role as the seemingly unflappable and strategically brilliant Mallory only further cemented this image of quiet strength and moral fortitude. Before embarking on the perilous mission to Navarone, Peck had already graced the silver screen in numerous iconic films, showcasing a remarkable range. From the principled lawyer Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird, a role that would later earn him an Academy Award for Best Actor, to the troubled journalist Joe Bradley in Roman Holiday, Peck consistently delivered performances marked by intelligence and depth. His journey into acting began after a period of academic pursuits and various odd jobs. A chance encounter with acting during his time at the University of California, Berkeley, ignited a passion that would define his life's work. He honed his craft on the stage before making his Hollywood debut in 1944, quickly rising through the ranks to become one of the industry's most respected figures. As Captain Mallory, Peck embodied the calm under pressure that was essential to the success of the mission. His performance was marked by a quiet intensity, a strategic mind always at work, and a deep sense of responsibility for the lives of his team. Critics lauded his portrayal as the steadfast leader, the anchor around which the high-stakes action revolved. The role further solidified his image as a dependable and heroic figure in cinema, a persona that resonated deeply with audiences during the Cold War era. Following the success of the Guns of Navarone, Peck continued to enjoy a distinguished career, taking on diverse and challenging roles that showcased his versatility. He starred in thrillers like Cape Fear, westerns like How the West Was Won, and dramas like The Omen, consistently delivering compelling performances that earned him further accolades and maintained his status as a major Hollywood star. However, behind the composed and heroic on-screen persona, Peck's personal life, like many others in the demanding world of Hollywood, faced its share of complexities. His first marriage to Greta Kukkonen eventually dissolved. While the on-screen hero exuded control, the pressures of maintaining such an image and the demands of his burgeoning career reportedly created distance and ultimately led to infidelity and divorce. He later found enduring happiness with his second wife, Irene Papas, with whom he shared a long and loving marriage, despite finding stability later in life. The earlier turmoil reportedly led Peck to grapple with alcohol. In 1980, a horseback riding accident resulted in a fractured shoulder, a physical setback that further impacted his well-being. The chronic pain and limitations imposed by the injury reportedly contributed to periods of depression and a reliance on painkillers. As physical pain reduced his opportunities in film, his substantial fortune, amassed through decades of successful work, gradually diminished due to mounting healthcare expenses. Ultimately, Gregory Peck passed away on June 12, 2003, at the age of 87, succumbing to bronchopneumonia. While the world mourned the loss of a cinematic giant and a symbol of on-screen heroism, his life also served as a reminder of the personal battles that even the most admired figures can face behind the captivating facade of fame. Anthony Quinn, born Antonio Rodolfo Quinn, Oaxaca, on April 21, 1915, brought a raw, visceral energy to the character of Colonel Andreas Stavros in the Guns of Navarone. At 46 years old during filming, Quinn's portrayal of the passionate and fiercely independent Greek warrior was a force of nature, injecting a vibrant intensity into the film's dynamic. His commanding presence and booming voice made Stavros an unforgettable figure, a man driven by a deep-seated patriotism and a willingness to sacrifice everything for his homeland. Quinn's journey to Hollywood stardom was marked by a remarkable resilience and a relentless pursuit of his craft. Born in Mexico, he immigrated to the United States as a child and navigated a challenging early life, working various jobs before finding his footing in acting. His breakthrough came with his Academy Award-winning performance as Eufemio Zapata in Viva Zapata. In 1952, a role that showcased his ability to embody complex and powerful characters. Prior to Navarone, he had already established himself as a versatile and compelling actor, equally adept at playing both heroes and villains. As Colonel Stavros, Quinn delivered a performance that was both physically imposing and emotionally resonant. He captured the character's unwavering determination and his deep-seated resentment towards the occupying forces. His scenes with Gregory Peck crackled with a compelling tension, the contrasting styles of the two actors creating a fascinating dynamic of leadership and differing perspectives. Quinn's portrayal was lauded for its authenticity and its ability to ground the more fantastical elements of the mission in a believable human experience. However, Quinn's strong on-screen presence often masked a turbulent and complex personal life. His passionate nature, so evident in his acting, extended to his relationships, leading to significant emotional upheaval. His marriage to Yolanda Adalori, with whom he had several children, ultimately ended amidst the turmoil of an affair with his secretary. This emotional turmoil reportedly led Quinn to seek solace in alcohol, a coping mechanism that would have long-lasting consequences. In 1978, Quinn was involved in a car accident that resulted in a fractured femur, a severe injury that left him dependent on painkillers for a significant period. This reliance not only affected his physical health, but also contributed to a decline in his acting frequency in later years. His once prolific career slowed as he grappled with the aftermath of the accident and the ongoing effects of painkiller dependence. Financially, Quinn's $20 million estate, which included a Rhode Island farm and a valuable collection of artwork, faced significant diminution due to inheritance disputes and what was often described as a hedonistic lifestyle. The complexities of his personal relationships and his penchant for living life to the fullest reportedly contributed to the erosion of his wealth. In his later years, Anthony Quinn's health gradually declined. Years of alcohol consumption and the physical toll of his accident and subsequent medication took their toll. He ultimately succumbed to respiratory failure on June 3, 2001, at the age of 86. While he left behind a legendary career filled with memorable performances and iconic characters, his life off-screen was a testament to the fact that even the most powerful and charismatic figures can be vulnerable to personal struggles and the relentless challenges of life. David Niven, born James David Graham Niven on March 1, 1910, brought a quintessential British charm and wit to the role of Corporal John Anthony Miller, the explosives expert in the Guns of Navarone. At 51 years old during filming, Niven's portrayal offered a lighter, more sardonic counterpoint to the intense physicality of Quinn and the stoic leadership of Peck. His Miller was a character who could defuse bombs with a steady hand and deliver a dry quip with equal aplomb, adding a layer of sophisticated humor to the perilous mission. Niven's path to stardom was paved with a blend of charisma, talent, and a touch of adventurous spirit. After a stint in the British Army, he found his way to Hollywood in the 1930s, quickly establishing himself as a debonair leading man known for his suave demeanor and impeccable comedic timing. His role as Phileas Fogg in Around the World in 80 Days, 1956, solidified his international appeal and showcased his ability to blend charm with a touch of whimsicality. As Corporal Miller, Niven expertly portrayed a man whose outward charm belied a sharp intellect and a crucial skill set. He brought a much-needed element of levity to the tense atmosphere of the film, his witty banter and understated reactions providing moments of relief for both his fellow commandos and the audience. Critics praised his nuanced performance, recognizing that beneath the surface of the affable corporal lay a dedicated and capable operative. However, the pressure to maintain his suave and light-hearted public persona reportedly took a toll on his personal life. His first marriage to Primula Rollo ended tragically when she died in a fall. This profound loss deeply affected Niven, pushing him towards alcohol as a means of coping with his grief. His second marriage to Geordie Ginberg also faced its challenges and reportedly grew distant over time. In 1970, Niven suffered a skiing accident that resulted in a fractured hip. This injury marked a significant turning point in his later years, leading to chronic pain and bouts of depression. The physical limitations imposed by the injury gradually reduced his opportunities in film, impacting his career trajectory. Financially, Niven had amassed a considerable fortune. David Niven's vibrant voice and charismatic presence were ultimately silenced by amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. This debilitating neurological condition progressively robbed him of his physical abilities, eventually taking away his voice and vitality. David Niven passed away on July 29, 1983, at the age of 73. While his cinematic legacy remains filled with charm and memorable performances, his life was also marked by periods of deep sorrow and the cruel irony of a disease that stole the very instrument of his captivating persona. Richard Harris, born Richard St. John Harris on October 1, 1930, brought a raw, intense energy to the role of Squadron Leader Barnsby, the initially reluctant and somewhat cynical Royal Air Force pilot in the Guns of Navarone. At 31 years old during filming, Harris's portrayal stood out for its simmering frustration and eventual grudging acceptance of the perilous mission. His Barnsby was a man initially out of his element, a pilot thrust into ground-based sabotage, adding a layer of internal conflict to the team dynamic. Harris's career leading up to Navarone was already marked by a rebellious streak and a powerful screen presence. His breakthrough role in This Sporting Life, 1963, would later solidify his image as a fiercely independent and often volatile actor. Prior to Navarone, he had demonstrated a captivating intensity that hinted at the inner turmoil his characters often faced. This intensity would become a hallmark of his performances throughout his career. As Squadron Leader Barnsby, Harris captured the character's initial resentment at being involved in the ground operation, a sentiment that gradually gave way to a grudging respect for his fellow commandos and a fierce determination to succeed. His performance was marked by a palpable frustration that slowly transformed into a quiet resolve, adding a compelling arc to his character within the film's narrative. This role further established his ability to portray complex and often conflicted individuals on screen. However, Harris's rebellious on-screen image often mirrored a tumultuous personal life. His first marriage to Elizabeth Rees Williams, with whom he had 3 sons, ultimately broke down, reportedly fueled by his struggles with alcoholism. His second marriage to Ann Turkel also ended in divorce. These family fractures reportedly contributed to a more reckless lifestyle, marked by heavy drinking and a disregard for his physical well-being. In 1985, Harris was involved in a motorcycle accident that resulted in fractured ribs. This injury led to a dependence on painkillers to manage the chronic pain, a reliance that further complicated his health and reportedly limited his acting work in the years that followed. Despite his considerable talent and screen presence, his personal struggles often overshadowed his professional achievements. Financially, Harris amassed a significant fortune, including a villa in the Bahamas and a collection of sports cars. However, his extravagant spending habits reportedly eroded his $20 million estate over time. His health further deteriorated due to Hodgkin's disease, a condition that was undoubtedly exacerbated by his harsh lifestyle. Richard Harris passed away on October 25, 2002, at the age of 72, leaving behind a powerful cinematic imprint characterized by his intense and often larger-than-life performances. However, his life off-screen served as a stark reminder of the destructive potential of personal demons, a tragedy that often shadowed his considerable artistic contributions. Irene Papas, born Irene Lelicu on September 3, 1926, brought a profound depth and emotional resonance to the role of Maria Papademos, the resilient and fiercely patriotic Greek resistance fighter in the Guns of Navarone. At 35 years old during filming, Papas's portrayal was a powerful embodiment of the suffering and unwavering spirit of the Greek people under occupation. Her intense gaze and emotionally charged performance added a layer of gravitas and human cost to the film's action-packed narrative. Papas's career prior to Navarone had already established her as a formidable talent, particularly within Greek cinema. Her powerful stage presence and her ability to convey deep emotion without uttering many words made her a captivating figure. Following Navarone, her international recognition soared, particularly after her iconic role as the widowed Zorba in Zorba the Greek, 1964, a performance that further cemented her status as a world-class actress capable of portraying profound human experiences. As Maria Papademos, Papas delivered a performance that was both stoic and deeply vulnerable. She embodied the strength forged through hardship and the unwavering commitment to her cause. Her interactions with the commandos, particularly her shared history and unspoken connection with Anthony Quinn's Stavros, added layers of emotional complexity to the mission. Critics lauded her portrayal for its authenticity and its ability to convey the human cost of war without resorting to melodrama. However, Papas's intense artistic passion reportedly led to challenges in her personal life. Her marriage to Alkis Papas eventually ended in divorce. While she was deeply committed to her craft and her artistic pursuits, this dedication seemingly came at the expense of her personal relationships, leading to a more solitary existence in her later years. This perceived loneliness reportedly contributed to periods of depression. In 1975, she suffered a fall that resulted in a spinal injury. leading to chronic pain and the use of medication to manage it. This persistent pain inevitably reduced her opportunities in film, impacting her career in her later years. Financially, Papas had accumulated a modest estate, including a stone house in Greece and a collection of rare books, reflecting her intellectual and artistic inclinations. However, the ongoing costs of managing her chronic pain and subsequent health issues gradually dwindled her $10 million fortune. In her later years, Irene Papas faced the devastating effects of Alzheimer's disease, a condition that gradually robbed her of her memory and independence, leaving her dependent on the care of others. She passed away on September 14, 2022, at the remarkable age of 93, while she left behind an indelible mark on Greek culture and a legacy of powerful performances that transcended borders. Her life also served as a poignant reminder of the potential for loneliness and the cruel impact of debilitating illness, even on the most artistically gifted individuals. Stanley Baker, born William Stanley Baker on February 28, 1928, brought a rugged, working-class intensity to the role of Chief Petty Officer Butcher Brown in the Guns of Navarone. At 33 years old during filming, Baker's portrayal was a study in quiet competence and unwavering loyalty. His Butcher Brown was the dependable backbone of the commando team, a man of few words but immense capability, particularly in close-quarters combat. Baker's career prior to Navarone had already established him as a powerful and often brooding presence on screen. His breakthrough role in Hell Drivers, 1957, showcased his ability to portray tough, determined characters. Following Navarone, his international profile rose significantly, particularly after his commanding performance as Lieutenant John Chard in Zulu, 1964, a film that further cemented his image as a strong and resolute leader. As Chief Petty Officer Butcher Brown, Baker delivered a performance that was grounded and believable. He embodied the stoicism and unwavering dedication of a seasoned naval officer. His physical presence and no-nonsense demeanor provided a stark contrast to some of the more flamboyant personalities within the team, making him a crucial element in the film's dynamic. Critics appreciated his understated yet powerful portrayal of a man you could depend on in a crisis. However, the pressures of leading roles and maintaining a tough public image reportedly took a toll on Baker's personal life. He struggled with alcoholism, a battle that strained his marriage to Ellen Martin and created distance between him and his children. The emotional pain stemming from these family issues reportedly led him to gambling, a further source of stress and potential financial instability. In 1969, Baker was involved in a car accident that resulted in a fractured arm. This injury not only caused him significant physical pain, but also deepened his dependence on medication and contributed to periods of depression. The reliance on painkillers and the limitations imposed by his injury inevitably reduced his acting opportunities in the later part of his career. Financially, Baker had achieved a degree of success, including owning a home in Wales. However, the mounting debt resulting from his personal struggles gradually eroded his $1 million estate. Tragically, Stanley Baker's life was cut short by lung cancer, a disease undoubtedly exacerbated by his heavy smoking habit. He passed away on June 28, 1976, at the relatively young age of 48. While he left behind a notable career filled with strong and memorable performances, his life also served as a cautionary tale of the destructive impact of addiction and personal dissatisfaction, even on those who projected an image of unwavering strength on screen. Anthony Quail, born John Arthur Douglas Pope Quail on September 7, 1913, brought a distinguished gravitas to the role of Major Roy Franklin, adding a layer of traditional military authority to the unconventional commando team. His Franklin was a man of principle and resilience, even in the face of enemy captivity. Quail's career prior to Navarone was deeply rooted in the British theater, where he had established himself as a formidable classical actor. While he also appeared in films, his passion for the stage remained a central driving force in his professional life. Following Navarone, he continued to work in both film and theater, earning further recognition for his roles in films like Lawrence of Arabia, 1962, where he played Colonel Harry Brighton. As Major Roy Franklin, Quail delivered a performance that conveyed both the character's initial vulnerability as a prisoner and his unwavering sense of duty once rescued. He embodied the stiff upper lip and the traditional military bearing expected of a British officer of his rank. His interactions with the more unorthodox members of the team highlighted the clash between conventional warfare and the necessary pragmatism of their covert mission. Critics praised his dignified and nuanced portrayal. However, Quail's deep passion for the stage reportedly created a distance in his personal life. While he never divorced his wife, Dorothy Hyson, their shared life eventually involved living separately. This arrangement, while perhaps amicable, reportedly led to feelings of loneliness and contributed to Quail's turning to alcohol. In 1975, Quail suffered a horseback riding accident that resulted in a fractured pelvis. This injury marked a significant decline in his physical well-being, leading to chronic pain and bouts of depression. The ongoing pain inevitably reduced his opportunities in film, impacting his later career. Financially, Quail had accumulated a modest fortune, including a home in London. However, the escalating costs of managing his chronic pain and related health issues gradually depleted his $2 million estate. Tragically, Anthony Quail's health deteriorated further due to long-term alcohol use, eventually leading to liver cancer. He passed away on October 20th, 1989, at the age of 76. While he left behind a significant legacy in both film and theater, his life also underscored the potential for personal regret and the isolating effects of professional dedication coupled with personal challenges. Gia Scala, born Giovanna Scolio on March 3, 1934, brought a captivating and enigmatic presence to the role of Anna, the hauntingly alluring resistance fighter in the Guns of Navarone. At just 27 years old during filming, Scala's portrayal was marked by a delicate vulnerability that belied an inner strength forged by the hardships of war. Her Anna was a mysterious figure, adding an element of intrigue and romantic tension to the commando's mission. Scala's career leading up to Navarone was a brief but luminous spark in Hollywood. Discovered while working in a grocery store, her striking beauty and natural screen presence quickly led to film roles. While the Guns of Navarone represented a significant peak in her career, she also appeared in films like The Price of Fear and Don't Go Near the Water, showcasing her potential as a captivating leading lady. As Anna, Scala delivered a performance that was both alluring and subtly tormented. She embodied the resilience of those living under occupation while also hinting at the emotional scars and sacrifices she had endured. Her interactions with James Darren Spiros were particularly poignant, adding a layer of youthful passion amidst the backdrop of war. Critics noted her captivating screen presence and the intriguing ambiguity she brought to her character. However, the pressure to maintain a perfect public image in the demanding world of Hollywood reportedly took a significant toll on Scala's personal life. Her marriage to Don Burnett eventually collapsed. The intense scrutiny and expectations of fame, coupled with perhaps underlying personal struggles, reportedly pushed her towards alcohol and periods of depression. This inner pain seemingly led to a more reckless lifestyle. In 1968, she was involved in a car accident that resulted in mild brain damage. This marked the beginning of a tragic cycle of pill dependency and self-destructive behavior, as she struggled to cope with the physical and emotional aftermath of the accident and her ongoing mental health challenges. This dependency gradually eroded her financial stability. Her $200,000 fortune, which included her Hollywood apartment, dwindled as debt mounted, likely due to medical expenses and the costs associated with her struggles. Tragically, Gia Scala's life was cut short by a drug overdose on April 30th, 1972, at the young age of 38. Her brief but memorable career left behind a fleeting spark of talent and beauty, But her life ultimately serves as a poignant reminder of the devastating consequences of the pressures of fame and the insidious grip of addiction and mental illness. James Robertson Justice, born James Norval Harold Robertson Justice on June 15, 1907, brought a booming voice and an imposing presence to the role of Jensen, the unflappable and authoritative commanding officer in the Guns of Navarone. At 54 years old during filming, Justice's portrayal was the epitome of the steadfast leader. His booming pronouncements and unwavering demeanor providing a sense of reassurance amidst the perilous mission. He was the quintessential figure of command, even when faced with unconventional tactics. Justice's career prior to Navarone was marked by a series of memorable character roles, often portraying figures of authority or eccentric personalities. His success in the Doctor film series, beginning with Doctor in the House, 1954, had cemented his place as a familiar and well-respected face in British cinema, known for his distinctive voice and larger-than-life persona. As Jensen, Justice delivered a performance that was both commanding and subtly understanding of the unconventional nature of the team he was leading. While he represented the traditional military hierarchy, he also recognized the unique skills and personalities of Mallory, Stavros, and their crew. His booming voice and stern expressions often masked a deeper concern for the success of the mission and the well-being of his men. Critics noted his strong presence and the sense of authority he effortlessly conveyed. However, behind the strong and jovial on-screen image, Justice reportedly carried a deep personal sorrow. The loss of his son created a significant rift between him and his wife, Irene von Meindorf. This profound grief reportedly drove a wedge into their relationship and contributed to feelings of isolation. In an attempt to cope with this pain, Justice reportedly turned to alcohol. In 1965, Justice suffered a bike accident that resulted in a broken leg. This injury plunged him into chronic pain and further exacerbated his struggles with depression. As his health declined, acting roles became increasingly scarce, impacting both his professional and personal life. Financially, Justice had accumulated a modest fortune, including a collection of rare books and vintage cars, reflecting his intellectual and perhaps nostalgic inclinations. However, his assets were reportedly depleted by reckless spending in his later years, possibly as another manifestation of his personal struggles. Tragically, James Robertson Justice's health continued to deteriorate, and he suffered a series of strokes that ultimately weakened him. He passed away on July 2, 1975, at the age of 68, leaving behind a memorable cinematic mark but a life that was ultimately shadowed by personal loss and the lingering effects of grief. Brian Forbes, born John Theobald Clark on July 22, 1926, brought a thoughtful and somewhat understated presence to the role of Khan, the quiet but capable radio operator in the Guns of Navarone. At 35 years old during filming, Forbes's portrayal offered a contrast to the more outwardly heroic figures, highlighting the crucial support roles that were equally vital to the mission's success. His Khan was the essential link to the outside world, a man whose calm demeanor belied the high stakes of his responsibility. Forbes's career prior to Navarone was already multifaceted, encompassing both acting and writing. He had established himself as a talented screenwriter, notably for films like The Angry Silence. Following Navarone, he would transition more significantly into directing, achieving critical acclaim with films such as The L-Shaped Room, 1962, showcasing his keen eye for character-driven narratives and social commentary. As Khan, Forbes delivered a performance that was grounded and reliable. He embodied the quiet professionalism of a skilled technician under pressure. His interactions with the team were often brief but always purposeful, emphasizing the importance of communication in their perilous situation. Critics noted his understated effectiveness in portraying a character whose role, while not overtly action-oriented, was nonetheless critical to the mission's outcome. However, Forbes's burgeoning ambitions as a filmmaker reportedly created a distance in his personal life. His marriage to actress Nanette Newman, while long-lasting, reportedly experienced periods of tension due to the demands of his creative pursuits. This strain reportedly contributed to periods of alcohol consumption as a coping mechanism. In 1980, Forbes suffered a fall that resulted in spinal injuries. This marked a significant downturn in his physical well-being, leading to chronic pain and bouts of depression. The persistent suffering inevitably hindered his creative output and made the demanding work of directing more challenging. Financially, Forbes had achieved considerable success in his diverse career, amassing a fortune that included a home in Surrey and a collection of rare books, reflecting his intellectual interests. However, the escalating costs of managing his chronic pain and related health issues gradually dwindled his $5 million estate, weakened by years of stress and the physical toll of his injuries. Bryan Forbes passed away on May 8, 2013, at the age of 86. While he left behind a lasting cinematic legacy as both an actor and a respected director, his life also hinted at the personal sacrifices and challenges that can accompany ambitious creative endeavors, sometimes leading to a more solitary existence despite professional success. The heroes of the Guns of Navarone battled formidable foes on screen, their courage and determination captivating audiences and securing their place in cinematic history. Yet, as we have explored the lives of some of the talented actors who brought these characters to life, a more nuanced and often poignant picture emerges. Beyond the explosions and daring feats, these individuals navigated the complexities of fame, personal relationships, and the inevitable challenges of health and aging, often facing their own silent battles away from the glare of the spotlight. Some, like Gregory Peck and Anthony Quinn, achieved enduring iconic status, their names forever etched in the Hollywood pantheon. Their powerful performances in Navarone were but one facet of long and celebrated careers that continued to inspire and entertain generations. Others, like David Niven and Richard Harris, while reaching considerable heights of fame, grappled with personal demons and health issues that cast shadows over their later years. Their struggles served as a reminder that even the most charismatic and seemingly larger-than-life figures are vulnerable to the human condition. For some of the supporting cast, the journey was marked by the frustrations of being typecast or the quiet disappointment of unrealized potential. Actors like George Michael and Victor Beaumont, while contributing memorable performances, perhaps yearned for more diverse roles. Their stories highlight the often unseen challenges faced by those who work diligently in the industry, but may not always receive the widespread recognition they might have desired. The later lives of many of these actors were marked by the common struggles of aging, declining health, chronic pain, and the financial burdens that can accompany prolonged illness. The ravages of diseases like ALS, cancer, and Alzheimer's, as well as the consequences of accidents and addiction, took their toll, reminding us of the fragility of life, regardless of fame or fortune. Ultimately, the legacy of the Guns of Navarone endures, not only through its thrilling narrative but also through the collective contributions of its talented cast. While some faded from the brightest lights of Hollywood and others faced significant personal hardship, their performances in this classic film continue to resonate with audiences. Their on-screen heroism provided escapism and inspiration, and their off-screen lives, with all their complexities and vulnerabilities, serve as a reminder of the human element that lies behind the magic of cinema. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the lives of some of the stars of the Guns of Navarone. Their stories, both on and off the screen, offer a compelling glimpse into the triumphs and tribulations of those who dedicate their lives to the art of storytelling. If you enjoyed this exploration and wish to delve into more captivating stories from cinematic history, please subscribe to our channel. We look forward to sharing more timeless movie memories with you.